Hi friends, today we are going to talk on the topic chapter 2 biological classification, in which we are going to divide the chapter into three parts. First part will consist of two kingdom classification, three kingdom classification, four kingdom classification, so on to slim molds, and the second part will consist of kingdom fungi, the detailed explanation, which is the vast part in the whole chapter. And the third part will consist of the remaining portions, like it will be completed by Saturday. Like part 2 will be uploaded on Friday, and part 3 will be uploaded on Saturday possibly, and by Saturday we'll be completing the whole chapter 2. So let's start. So friends, if you talk about two kingdom classification, Carolus Linnaeus discovered this two kingdom classification, in which two kingdoms are included, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, and if you talk about three kingdom classification, which was discovered by Haeckel. Okay, and he included a extra kingdom which is called as Protista, which is commonly called as Protist. Okay, and if you talk about three kingdom classification, it is Copland discovered this three kingdom classification, and Monera, Protista, Plantae, Animalia are the kingdoms which comes under four kingdom classification. The included one which Copland included is Monera. And if you talk about five kingdom classification, R.H. Whitaker discovered five kingdom classification, and he included fungi, kingdom fungi. In the five kingdom classification, apart from Monera, other like Protista, Plantae, Animalia, and fungi is it is Eukarya. Okay, and eukaryotic, and Monera is prokaryotic. And if you talk about six kingdom classification or three domain system, this system was proposed by Carl Woese in 1990, and the domains, like three domains were there and six kingdoms were there. Three domains were Archaea, Bacteria, and Eukarya. Okay, and Eukarya, and the kingdoms were under domain Archaea. Archaea was the kingdom Archaea, and under domain Bacteria, Eubacteria was the kingdom. Okay, and under Eukarya, the kingdoms were Protista, fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Okay, and if we talk about this six kingdom classification, like two kingdom classification, the classifications, it got over, and now we are going to the kingdom Monera. Okay, kingdom Monera, in which we are going to see about bacteria. Okay, friends, now we are going to talk on the topic kingdom Monera. In kingdom Monera, bacteria are the sole member of the kingdom Monera. First point. Next point, the most important point is that Monera, it is heterotrophic or autotrophic, both, or you can say it is both. Okay, and now we are going to talk on the bacteria, which is classified based on its shape. Okay, it's four shapes. So friends, now we are going to talk on the bacteria, which is classified on the based on shapes, which is four shapes, as I told. The first one is spherical cocci, second is rod shaped bacilli, and third one is coma shaped vibrio, and the fourth shape is spiral shaped spirilla. Okay, spirilla. And spherical cocci is in singular form, it is coccus. In singular form, rod shaped bacilli is bacillus. Third, coma shaped vibrio in singular form is vibrium, and fourth one, that spiral shaped spirilla, is spirillum. And this is a classification based on the shape. Now we are going to talk of Archaea, which is also called as ancient bacteria, which is present from ages. Okay, bygone ages, that is old ages. From old ages it's present. So we are going to talk on the topic Archaea or ancient bacteria. Talking about Archaea is also called as old or ancient bacteria. It is classified into three types. First is halophils, third one is homoacidophils, and second one is thermoacidophils, and third one is methanogens. What is halophils? First we'll talk about halophils. Halophils, these halophils will live in extreme salty regions, like extreme salty conditions will be there. In there we can find these halophils. And if you talk about thermoacidophils, if you see in the name, two meanings are there. Okay, first one is thermo means will be hot regions. Second, acidophils, acid means it will be like acidic. So two reasons will be there. One region is hot areas, that is such as hot springs. Second, it will live in high acidic areas, or highly acidic conditions. So these are halophils, explanation of halophils and thermoacidophils. This is small definition. And if we talk about third, methanogens. Friends, now we are going to talk on methanogens. What is methanogens? Like, we'll see the habitats of them. Like, they live in guts of several ruminant animals, and they are responsible for production of biogas, that is methane. How they will produce? The source of production is dung of several animals, or we can say the waste. Okay, friends, now we are going to talk on eubacteria, which is also called as true bacteria or new bacteria. Okay, and it contains rigid cell wall. Cell wall is very rigid. Second one, it's motile. It can move by the means of flagellum. Third, it is photosynthetic autotrophs that can synthesize its own food through sunlight, like same as plants. Third, another thing is about cyanobacteria. Eubacteria contains of cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue-green algae. And blue-green algae, first property is that the chlorophyll A of this cyanobacteria will be similar to that of green plants, to that of the chlorophyll pigment present in green plants. Second is, it is unicellular, filamentous. Filaments will be there, and it will be divided into filaments. And then it is marine or terrestrial algae. Friends, now we are going to talk on eubacteria, which is also called as true bacteria or new bacteria. Okay, and it contains rigid cell wall. Cell wall is very rigid. Second one, it's motile. It can move by the means of flagellum. Third, it is photosynthetic autotrophs that can synthesize its own food through sunlight, like same as plants. Third, another thing is about cyanobacteria. Eubacteria contains of cyanobacteria, which is also called as blue-green algae. And blue-green algae, first property is that the chlorophyll A of this cyanobacteria will be similar to that of green plants, to that of the chlorophyll pigment present in green plants. Second is, it is unicellular, filamentous. Filaments will be there, and it will be divided into filaments. And then it is marine or terrestrial algae. Last 2 points of eubacteria is colony. Its colonies means outer lining are surrounded by gelatinous sheet, it will be protective layer on its colonies. And last point is fixation of atmospheric nitrogen in heterocytes. What are heterocytes? Heterocytes are specialized cells. In specialized cells, what it will do, it will fix atmospheric nitrogen for its own use. Okay, the examples for these eubacteria are common examples are nostoc and anabaina. We are going to talk about chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria, in which the first point is that they oxidize inorganic substances such as nitrate, and ammonia. Oxidize means they give off these inorganic substances as nitrate, nitrite, and ammonia. And if our second point, use they use the released energy for ATP production. After oxidizing these inorganic substances, they will give they will get the energy which is released. They will be using for ATP production, for giving energy for their motility, for the movement. They will be using this ATP production, and any production, reproduction, and for any food synthesis, they'll be using this ADP production. For this, they are using the release energy for ADP production. That's all for chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. These are the two important points. Other than that, one more important point is there about the recycling the nutrients. Last point is recycling nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. The nutrients such as which mainly there in chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria is nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. Nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur, which they recycle them for further use. And now we are talking about heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria, majority of these bacteria are decomposers. One of the example is Bacillus subtilis. And if you talk about second point, like making curd from milk, production of antibiotics, and fixing nitrogen in legume roots, etc. In these functions, in these processes, heterotrophic bacteria will be used. And the example of these heterotrophic bacteria is Lactobacillus. How can we understand the this name? We can say like lacto is for milk, and bacillus is for rod shaped bacilli. It's so easy. About pathogenic nature of heterotrophic bacteria, it is very harmful. First, second, in plants it will cause a disease called constant disease, and in humans it will cause tuberculosis, and animals it will cause a disease salmonellosis. Okay. And if you talk about mycoplasma, another pathogenic, it is pathogenic in nature. It will be pathogenic in animals and plants, and it lacks a cell wall because it's motile. And second thing, it's the smallest organism which can survive without oxygen. Okay. Now we are going to talk about reproduction in bacteria. Reproduction in bacteria is divided into asexual mode of reproduction and sexual mode of reproduction, in which asexual mode of reproduction consists of binary fission and spore formation, whereas in sexual mode of reproduction, conjugation is there. Conjugation is like fusion of, it's like similar to fusion of gametes. Okay, gametes will be involved. Sexual mode of reproduction will be there. Talk on the topic kingdom Protista. As I said, Monera is prokaryotic. Except Monera, other kingdoms such as Protista, kingdom Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, they are all eukaryotic. First point under Protista is single celled. Second is eukaryotic. Third, it reproduces both by asexual as well as sexual mode of reproduction. And under kingdom Protista, chrysophytes are coming, whose examples are diatoms and golden algae. And if we talk about next point, it lives in both fresh water, and the next point is it lives in both fresh water and marine water. And it is microscopic, that is it's very small or tiny, we can say, and it floats in water as plankton do. And next point is diatoms. The diatoms, I said chrysophytes example as diatoms and golden algae. In that, diatoms are the chief producers in ocean. In the ocean, they are the chief producers. Okay. Next point is the cell wall formed by two overlapping shells, a similar structure as soap box. What they are trying to say that the cell wall is formed by two overlapping, that the two shells will be one on the other, like the structure of the soap box. Okay, similar to that, but not exactly the structure of soap box. Okay, and the walls embedded with silica. The cell walls are embedded with silica so that it is indestructible because of silica. Okay, to study about diatomaceous earth, in which diatomaceous earth means like the diatoms which we have studied. The diatoms leaves a large amount of cell wall deposits in their habitats where they live. Okay, the accumulation of these habitats over billion of years is called as diatomaceous earth. That's all. Uses of diatomaceous earth is it's this like it's gritty. So the soil is gritty. Okay, the soil is gritty, so that soil is used for pollution. Second one, it is used for the filtration of oil and syrups. We are going to talk about dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates, they are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They use sunlight for their reproduction, or we can say about their food synthesis. They are using sunlight because they are photosynthetic. Next, they are yellow in color, green in color, brown, blue or red in color. These colors can vary as they depend upon the main pigment present in them, means present in their cells. Okay, particular cells. Next point is that they have stiff cellulosic plates which is present in the outer surface of the dinoflagellates. Next point, they have two flagella for movement, okay, for motility. And if you talk about the two flagellates, one flagellate will be longitudinal, and second one will be transversely. Transverse diffurate means the connection between the wall plates will be going between the wall plates. Okay, the second flagellate will go between the wall plates. So we talk about red tides. Red tides, the simple definition of red tides is that a red dinoflagellate, the example of red dinoflagellate we can take simply chronolochs. Red dinoflagellates undergo a rapid cell division that they make the sea appear due to rapid multiplication, not cell division, rapid multiplication. It makes the sea to appear red. So that is called as red tides. Okay, that is called red tides. Due to these red tides, the major disadvantage is that the toxins released during these rapid multiplication may kill the marine animals living in the sea. So fishes. Okay, simple example is fish. Talk about euglenoids. In that euglenoids live in stagnant water. Stagnant water means which is not moving. It will be in one place. Okay. Second point, it have no cell wall. Second, instead of cell wall, they have protein-rich layer called pellicle. Pellicle makes the body flexible. It's the major use of that. Makes the body flexible. And the next point is it have two flagella. One is short and another is long. Okay. And if we talk about in presence of sunlight was the case, or how it will be a mode of nutrition, and in absence of sunlight what will be the mode of nutrition. In presence of sunlight, P represents presence of sunlight, it is photosynthetic, whereas absence of sunlight, it is heterotrophic. It will obtain heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Last point of euglenoids is that the pigments which is present in euglenoids is similar to that of the higher plants, which the pigments present in the higher plants. Okay, and the common example of euglenoids is euglena. As simple as that. Last topic which we are going to discuss in this part 1 is limb molds. In the limb molds, the first point is that they are saprophytic protists. Second, they have plasmodium in which under suitable conditions grow and spread over several feet. Okay, under only under suitable conditions it will be growing and spreading over several fields. So the next point is Plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. The spores will be present at their tips. This condition will be like this things will be happening under unfavorable condition. Okay, this will happen under unfavorable condition. This point is about the spores. I said that like after about the fruiting body, the spores will be present at the tip. Okay, now we are talking about the spores. The three qualities are there. First, they are resistant. Second, they survive for a longer period of time. Third, they disperse through air current. The dispersion means the travel, the movement of the spores will be through air current. Okay, the medium will be through air current. And if you talk about spores, it have two walls. No cell wall, but spores have two walls in them. Okay. About protozoans. Protozoans, like they are heterotrophic, first property. Second, they are primitive relatives of animals, means rare relatives of animals. And these protozoans are of three types. First one is amoeboid protozoans, second is flagellated protozoans, and third one is ciliated protozoans, in which amoeboid protozoans protozoans will have pseudopodia for the capture of their prey. And if you take the best example of protozoans, it's amoeba and paramoecium. Okay, about second type of protozoan, that is flagellated protozoan. Flagellated protozoan will have one or more flagella for easy movement, okay, for the motility. And if you talk about third type, it is ciliated protozoans. By the name ciliated, it describes about the cilia, which is present on the body surface. And this protozoan is very simple, very short and very simple. And contrasting to sporozoan is there. Sporozoan, like if you talk about the points, the first and the last point is about the presence of spores as a stage, only as a stage in the whole life cycle. In the whole life cycle of sporozoan, spores will be acting as a stage, only will be present as a stage. So this is the end of the lesson, and not end of the lesson but end of the part 1, as I said, up to slim molds. And then in part 2 I will be explaining about kingdom fungi, the whole part, which is very fast. So I'll be uploading it. If you like my video, please give a thumbs up and share as much you can, and subscribe to my channel so that I will get motivation to make new videos. So friends, thank you, take care, bye bye.